and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and just dive right on in here. And we're going to get on with the first team. You know who we got to talk about. If you can't see over my shoulder or my hat or over my other shoulder, we're starting with the world champion Kansas City Chiefs, man. We talking about the two-time in a row champions, three times when we talking about Project Pat. Um, Best team in football. But let's just go ahead and get on into it here for the folks. Week one. Oh, well, do we want preseason? Do we want to go over that?
No, we'll skip preseason. That. No, not to say that it doesn't matter. I always get excited to watch these young rookies really put on a display for everybody and try to make a team. But let's be realistic. If it ain't gonna count at the end of the season, we ain't gonna bother with it.
Ain't even gonna bother with it. So let's dive on in, ladies and gentlemen. Week one, we have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens. AFC Championship rematch, prime time, first game of the season, 7:20. And it ain't no secret, and I don't think it's gonna be a secret. Kansas City is gonna win. They're favored. They're gonna win. They're gonna win. Banner night. They're gonna win. There's just no reason we're not going to. Last banner situation got spoiled because we had some internal situations going on, but we dropping this banner on the way to the three-peat. Mr. KC.
I'm right there with you. Anytime Andy Reid's got extra time, you gotta give it to Andy Reid. And this is really a matchup Pat Mahomes really likes to win against Lamar Jackson. Lamar won the MVP. This is the MVP Lamar Jackson we were talking about. And that's something Pat Mahomes takes personal, I believe.
And this is the first time where we've had two quarterbacks who's won multiple MVPs play in the first game of the season. So we get a little bit of history on top of our already starting to make a historic run toward the three-peat. So we just get more history on top of more history right there for you. And
For
so
sure.
so we're in cahoots. KC wins. Moving on to week two. Um, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Cincinnati Bengals. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Ooh.
you know the Bengals are losing this game. Bengals are going to Bengal. They always start slow. And when you start slow and have to play the team that always starts fast and only gets faster, it's going to be a bloodbath. I got Kansas City in that game by a big margin. We'll get into points and stuff later on a different day, but by a big margin. And that game is at home also. Both games, first two games in the Arrowhead, back to
Oh,
back.
yeah. In Kansas City, give me the Chiefs too. Preach is all I'm going to say about that one.
Yeah, there's nothing really we can say too much about it here. Moving on here, a game that I'm actually looking forward to here is the game on my birthday, September 22nd. We are
Ooh.
facing the Atlanta Falcons, my boy Kirk Thuggins and the newly revamped Falcons. And you know I've been high on them Falcons, man, but I'm not that high to not pick the Kansas City Chiefs. We own Atlanta. I think the ownership continues. Shout out to all my family down there, all my folk and everything. But y'all know what time it is, man. It's Kansas City. 3-0. Mr. Casey.
Yeah, 3-0. That's how it's going to go. Look, this is a big test for the Atlanta team to see what they can do. But I already know the answer to this test, and they failed. Give me Kansas City 3-0
Yes, sir. And moving right along here, and that game is in Atlanta, folks, away game.
in
Project
Atlanta.
Pat on the road, which doesn't mean nothing because he shows you he wins everywhere. Um, we got our next slew of road games. We're actually about to stay on the road for a little minute. We're heading back to Arrowhead West Junior to face the Los Angeles Chargers in Week 4. And ladies and gentlemen, Kansas City is no surprise 4-0 at this point. Um, it's just what it is, Mr. KC.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Look, I know you're going to say, look, new coach, new year, new team, but it's a rebuilding year for them. This isn't a conversation. This is
Man,
4-0. 4-0 start for Kansas City.
And this is just classic AFC West, man. They trying to
Yeah.
bring in big name coaches who they think is on Andy Reid's level, and you're getting nothing but bottom feeders, people who ain't smelled Super Bowl in upwards of 10 years. It's it's amazing to me. Neither one is a quarterback whisperer. I don't anyway. Jim Harbaugh was a quarterback, but you see his track record. Like, what are we really talking about? So, another loss for them, another win for us. Moving on to week 5, where we go to another place where we've had a lot of success down in New Orleans to face the
Mm.
Saints. And ladies and gentlemen, this is probably the biggest blowout you're going to see early in the season. Kansas City tears the rails off the Saints. That's going to be led by maybe Derek Carr. We'll see what happens there, but that game's a wrap on the way to the bye, 5-0.
As long as Patrick Mahomes is healthy, I expect a 10-plus point line on this game. This is what we like to refer to as better than a bye.
Better than a
Uh,
bye, and coming up on the bye. So they're really about to get 2 weeks off, almost a third week by the time they have to come back in week 7, and it picks back up on the road. Still, we're still on the road, man. We got a long road map. This
mm,
time though, we go to another place out west where we're all too comfortable and familiar with. We head on to see the San Francisco 49ers. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't watch the show, I tell you all the time. Kansas City owns San Francisco, whether it's regular season, Super Bowl, back bowl, backyard barbecue bowl, the bourbon bowl. Shout out to Bobby Boucher. It don't matter. It just really don't matter. Kansas City by 20, because in the regular season they
mm.
usually beat them by 30. And if y'all don't believe me, go look at the last time we played in the regular season. Tell me what the score was. I'm sure we had more than a 40 ball. So there's that. Mr. Casey.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar with you. I think it's going to be a tight game. Look, they took it to overtime as well. This could be Kansas City's first loss. I'm going to give the Chiefs a win here. I will say it's an asterisk. We're going to really need to see who's healthy for this kind of game. This is one of those first tests of the year kind of games for me.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, it's a test for them because, like I said, man, when you own something, dude, you don't really need to test it out when you've already used it so many times. Like
Mm.
when you go to the bathroom, you know that toothbrush is gonna get the job done. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I mean, when I go shoe shopping, I ain't got to try them on. I know my
That's
size.
what I'm saying. When the salesman
Yeah.
come up to you and ask you, tell him what you want, you tell him you want them in a size 12. He know to just put the box on the counter. I don't need to try them on. I'm a grown man here. That's what
Right.
happens when we walk into any California team, man. They can call me crazy. Like I said, you just showed me one that we don't own. So moving on to the next one who had to run up out of California. But this is Arrowhead West. The legit Arrowhead West. We going to Vegas, baby. And we
Mm.
gonna get another one. That's what I'm saying, dude. Kansas City is starting off a ridiculous tear, bro. They're undefeated. They beat the Raiders at home, and I'm when I say at home with this all intents and purposes, I say it because Kansas City's at home. It's Arrowhead West. West. That's the
Right.
real Arrowhead West. So we know what time it is, and I'm sure Mr. Casey's right on the boat with me.
Right there with you. I mean, this is one of the easier games on the schedule, in my opinion.
Yes, sir. And talk about another game here now. This game, I would say, may be a little feisty, but at the end of the day, I'm expecting another dub, and I wouldn't be surprised if we win by at least 10. We head on over to your neck of the hood, to the woods, and play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And like I said, actually, I said we head over. No, that one's in Kansas City. I'm sorry. We come back home for Tampa
Oh,
Bay.
it's in Kansas City?
Yeah, that was in
Oh, yeah.
Kansas City. So I'm definitely taking the Chiefs at home over Baker Mayfield and the Bucks. Um, undefeated. I don't know what else to say right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's
They're
kind of
eight
wild
0
to
at this
predict.
point.
I really assumed there'd be like one kind of game that I think kind of threw a wrench into their plans this year, but I haven't seen it pop up yet, folks.
No, and the next game will be as tradition to what it usually is. We are back at home November 10th, facing the Denver Broncos. And you want to talk about another game that pops up right when you want it to, kind of another bye week you could use later on in the season. We dust the Broncos off, move to 9-0, going crazy. I don't know what to say. The Chiefs are running wild at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and you kind of really expect, someone to be competitive, but if you look in this AFC West around you, it's super weak. So there's nothing to really get you afraid of. There's nothing going on there in Denver, and it really kind of sets you up for a nice guaranteed 8 wins on the season, in my opinion.
Yeah. So at this point here, through the bye week, that's 5 wins, 6, 7, 8. You're 9 wins on the season after you beat the Broncos. So we're sitting there already at 9-0. Playoffs are already pretty much clinched at that point. We're well within the means to have a nice playoff berth to be on the road to the three-peat. And then we have the game that I would say so far may be the most challenging, just simply because America makes it this way. They want it to be this way. We go, as tradition, to Buffalo to play Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills are going to be terrible by far, but this is one game that they will let Buffalo win because they have to have some kind of narrative keeping this man in the midst of Patrick Mahomes. But you know me, folks. I'm always on the Buffalo Zuzan train. I'm picking Kansas City to extend that win streak. They beat Buffalo in Buffalo again, just like they did last year, on the playoffs, on the way to the bowl, and that's all she wrote. Like,
Well, you remember that script I was telling you about?
yeah,
Taylor Swift has a concert like 20 minutes away outside of Buffalo, and has a day off. And so Taylor Swift's going to be in the crowd.
It's turning into the Swift Bowl. Kansas City's going to be there. All of the Buffalo Swifts, like, oh, Taylor's going to be. We ain't Bills fans today. Yeah, I'm telling you. Shout out to the girl Taylor. Big shout out. Mm-hmm.
Right.
But yeah,
I want to give a quick shout out to our Rumble people. Cody's the Beast. What's up? We appreciate you stopping by.
Cody, you are the best. Thank you for the comments, sir. We appreciate you. And type in who you think will win some of these games. Give us your opinion for sure. Moving on, so I got Kansas City at 10-0 right now after beating the Buffalo Bills. And we're going to go down to another team to just solidify the 10th win of the season. I mean, the 11th win of the season. We play the Carolina Panthers.
Whoa.
And you want to talk about having another bye week toward the end of the season. It's just like when they made the schedule so far, they were just like, Kansas City's had it hard the last few years. Like, yeah, we'll make them go on the road, but let's give them teams that they've already slaughtered and they own. Like, finally give them some respect. But yeah, KC, they killed the Panthers week 12.
I can't believe they actually gave us the Panthers. Like that's the most unbelievable. This is another game preseason. I'm going to go ahead and say 10+ point favorite.
Yeah, I can pretty much agree with that. If not, yeah, I would say if not a 20 ball. You want to talk about getting blown out? Like that got blowout written all over it. So
Crazy.
the next game that we have after the blowout in Carolina, we come back home to host the Las Vegas Raiders for our second meeting of the season. And this one might be a little chippy. It's late in the season, depending on which Raiders team we get. Every dog has its day, but I don't think it's going to be their day that day either. I got Kansas City winning again, sweeping the Raiders, getting back to what we do. Getting back to the customs of the team. Mr. KC, who you got week 13?
Yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs here. Look, I know a lot of people are going to say, Homer alert, Homer alert. This is the worst quarterback room in the NFL versus Patrick Mahomes. Sweep. Give me the broom.
Yeah.
Sweep city.
And I'm right there with you. And then we're right back at home again the next week. Prime time, Sunday night football against the Los Angeles Chargers again. And this, I'm not a believer in this Chargers team, and I don't think by the end of the year they're going to have enough to beat Kansas City. I got the Chiefs winning this one again, man. I'm
And is that
sorry.
going to be in Kansas City? Is that a home
That's
game?
in Kansas City. Yes, sir.
Yeah, late in the year, coming from
Hmm.
California. Look, every game is a road game for the Chargers, so it doesn't really matter. But
Right.
man, give me the Chiefs.
Whew. So we have Kansas City going on one of the nastiest tears in NFL history, but it might boil down that way, man. They didn't think the '07 Pats could win it all, win every game until they started rolling and doing it.
Right?
Go ahead.
The only one that's made me nervous so far is maybe that 49ers game. Something like that.
And that's the game I'm not even see. You see what I'm saying? We on two different spectrums of that, but I
Right?
understand. The next game we have here is Kansas City versus the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. Now, this game kind of has trap written over because it's the Browns, that kind of thing. Even though Travis Kelsey traditionally plays great against the Browns. So we might see a lot of Kelsey, but I don't know, man. I'm kind of iffy on this one, actually. Just because it's so late in the season, I don't want us to look past them. And I don't care who's playing quarterback in Cleveland. I don't think the product's going to be that good. So
Right.
we'll just have to see. But for now, man, I'm gonna go with KC, but with an asterisk. So I'll put an asterisk on that one because it could be a potential loss. It's late in the season. You know how they like to throw in that little jammer.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I feel like this could be the L, just simply because we shouldn't be going undefeated, right? Like statistically, that's probably not going to happen. So I think this is probably another one of those asterisk games where I'm gonna probably say an L here just because I don't see undefeated in the books, but it's not out of the realm of possibility at this point.
Right. And so the next game we have here, we are back at home and we are hosting the Houston Texans. And in my opinion, this is probably by far the most competitive game we're probably going to play all year. Depending on the health of these Texans, man, and late in the season, I could see the upset at home. I could honestly see it. I think I'm going to go with the Texans in this game because, like you said, the probability we can't win them all, even though we probably could. I'm going to go with the Texans to be the first one to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 16.
Yeah, doesn't this set up a great narrative for the playoffs when these two teams face each other? And probably
Mm-hmm.
maybe even in the AFC Championship game, if we're just going to be realistic,
Because
looking at
then
the
they'll be like, "Oh, the Texans
quality,
bested them once. Oh, CJ Stroud, they can do it again." No, 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 no. So yeah, I could
right?
definitely see it.
Yeah, yeah, I can see it. I'll take an L here.
And then after that, we go up to the north side to play the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 17, and I have that as a win for Kansas City. Um, I know Mike Tomlin's going to have that team rolling. They're probably going to be in great position. We'll see who's playing quarterback by then. But coming off that Texans loss, Kansas City needs another win to kind of get refocused heading into the playoffs and everything like that. Probably to really to get their guys ready to rest Week 18. Because Week 18, well, who do you got? Steelers or the Chiefs?
Yeah, I'm going Chiefs. If it was Week 18 and they were playing the backups, I'd go Steelers. But since
Right.
it's Week 17, this is that get right game right before the
And it's
playoffs for the
and it's
Chiefs.
one of their Netflix games too. So shout out to Netflix,
Ooh.
ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have Netflix, you got to make sure you get it at a certain point in time because they dipping and diving. And lastly, Week 18 still be to be determined. Uh, as far as I guess the where I'm assuming here. or well, not the where, but I guess the time. I mean, it's going to be in Denver. We're playing the Broncos
Mm.
again, and I even think our backups win this game. I don't think it doesn't really matter in this one here. Um, Matter of fact, this probably could be another L. This could be the chalk 'em up to make them 15-2 on the season because they don't play
Right.
nobody at the end. But I'm gonna go with KC anyway over the Broncos, and I got them finishing with one loss on the season only to the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think the Chiefs win this game even with the backups. I feel like this is a very 14-3 season for the Chiefs, like
Yeah.
somewhere in that ballpark. And possibly, I mean, undefeated isn't out of the possibility, but I would say this is an easy 13-14 win team.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you here because just looking back on it and looking at where we picked, like I said, two possible losses only coming really toward the end of the season. And like I said, I doubt the Chiefs lose two back to back to the Browns and the Texans. So one of them's going to lose, one of them might win. So
Right.
15-2 worst scenario for me, 16-1 setting a new NFL record. Uh,
Mm,
Highest possibility.
could happen. Very well could.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it for the Kansas City Chiefs. Ooh, hold on.